Good afternoon, everybody, and hello, Prateek Kuhad. On behalf of Madhu Nyotia and the entire team of the India Story, happy Ganesh Chaturthi and happy Onam. It is my pleasure to welcome you to episode 2 of season 1 of the online add-on to India's leading design festival, culture and music, the India Story continues. Last week, this online festival made its debut with two stalwarts from the design world, jeweler to royalty Raj Mehtani and fashion designer to the stars Sandeep Khosla. Incidentally, the opening day, August 15, was also the 34th anniversary of Abu Jani and Sandeep Khosla. So a lot of wishes were exchanged, cakes were cut, and a good time was had by all. What was missing though, Prateek, was music. We played a song here and there, and there was enough laughter to not miss a soundtrack too much. But today, I hope we're going to correct that. Prateek Kuhad, welcome again.
Hey, man,
My understanding of your work began right here at the India Story. I confess I hadn't heard too much of your music at all when I turned up one evening in December 2018 at the Swabhumi complex in Calcutta. It was my first time at the India Story and one of my early trips to Calcutta. You were on stage, but I couldn't hear you very well. For in between the stage and where I stood, there was an amphitheater of ecstatic young boys and girls matching your song word to word. And in between numbers, they just kept chanting your name. Who is this chap, I asked. Oh, he's from Jaipur, I was told. And I was honestly very confused. Standing there that evening, Prateek, I did not know whether it was your music that was making the crowd so crazy, or whether this was the way Calcutta behaved whenever any performer turned up in front of them. I soon realized it was you. Your work impressed me enough to have you on the cover of my magazine just 6 months later. We called you the Heartbreak Kid, didn't we? And what I'm most happy about is that we chose to put you on the cover of our magazine 6 months before a certain other gentleman chose you as his favorite. That gentleman was Barack Obama, the President of the United States of America, who in January 2020 released a list of his 10 favorite songs, and Your Cold Mess was on it. But Prateek, before we dive deep into your fascinating story of success, hard work, and probably heartbreak, let us first give credit where it's due. Tell me, Prateek, of your experience at performing at the India Story 2018.
Yeah, it was a really nice show. I think it was one of the first shows we were playing in Calcutta after a really long time. So, I mean, I'd played in Calcutta, I think in 2015, a long time ago, or maybe it was 2014, which was one of the weekenders. And then after that, this was the first show that was like a proper public show. And it was great. I mean, we didn't know what to expect because, it had been such a long time. And it was really amazing seeing like the crowd that you're talking about that was there.
And it was fantastic. I was there to witness this. So Prateek, the India Story, powered by the Nyotia Arts Trust, is today one of the most respected arts, design, and culture fests in India. Let's take a look at a little video starring you.
I feel cold keep you close. And if I could hold you and take you home, when the toes touch mine, and if I could hold you, take you home.
Fantastic. Look at those crowds. Turns out I was wrong that day, Prateek. Calcutta girls and boys are not starstruck for anyone and everyone. It was you working your magic. My first question to you today: are you aware, Prateek, of your ability to turn people's knees into jelly?
uh, I don't know. I guess. I mean, depends on the kind of show I'm playing, I guess. But yeah.
Well, absolutely fantastic. At least it evoked a smile, and I hope there's going to be a lot more smiles and laughter in the rest of this afternoon. Pratik, your story is fascinating. You were studying economics in New York, and you took up a job when you flew into India for your first live gig. Did you think then that music would become a viable career option for you?
No, I mean, it's not like I thought it was completely impossible, but it was definitely not something I was, 100% sure about or very confident about even. So that's why I kind of decided to give myself an year and give it a shot and see how it goes, and then decide if I want to continue, doing what I'm doing or not.
So you're here. You studied economics. You took up a job in New York. You came back to India for one show and went back, thinking that maybe this is just something you're giving a try. You didn't think it would be something you'd do for life at that time.
No, I didn't go back. I mean, I moved back. I was working in New York, and then I moved
Right.
back to India for a year. And
Yes.
which I mean, at that point, I thought it would be a year. And I didn't know what I was going to do after that, whether going back,
Right.
uh, you know,
Right.
back abroad again or staying in India, working somewhere else. But I decided to
Right.
give myself a year, basically.
Right. And wow, that year worked. You basically are self-taught, right? Was there a moment when the ball dropped, when you said music is what it's going to be?
Uh, no, there was no one moment. I think it's little things happen along the way, and every tiny thing that happens that's good gives you a little bit of hope and a little bit of more faith in the fact
Right.
that things will keep getting better.
Right.
And but there was no real one singular turning point in that sense, no.
Right, right. Your journey to fame sounds very fairy tale like to a lot of people, right? It's easy to believe that destiny led you to where you are. But in reality, there was struggle and there was a lot of strategic planning involved as well. You've always had a manager, you had someone representing you, you were professionally managed. When you came back to India in 2011, 2012, there was this big social media boom, which you took advantage of and then became one of India's first independent musicians. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I was fortunate with the timing of things. I think
Yes,
maybe 15 or 20 years ago, what I did would have been 20 times more difficult, if not impossible. But
correct.
the fact that uh, the internet kind of booming and social media, like you said, and the way music is distributed and sold and shows are done, and just also the tastes and preferences of the listeners in India,
Yes,
how that changed when I started was fortunate, which is why I was able to do what I was doing and actually sustain myself. Otherwise, I think I
right.
would have given up a long time ago.
Right.
I
So,
mean,
say
yeah.
social media was not at its peak or getting there when you came back to India. Would you have gone to record labels and stood in lines outside seeking appointments with those uh, top bosses who are like villains in Bollywood these days?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think like if if it wasn't sustainable for me to do this on my own, uh,
Yes,
I would have either labels or pushed things for a lot harder in the film music industry.
correct.
But honestly, I might have not just I might have just not done it in the first place also, because the
Right,
whole reason I did it was because I was able to do it my way and write songs and make records in the way that I
Right,
wanted to do. And
right.
I kind of just also like being, my own boss, so to say. I mean,
Right, right, right. No, it's fantastic, and it's amazing how you've done it. Now to get into a little bit of a personal question. Your songs, Prateek, are heavy on words. Do you think of yourself as a singer or a songwriter?
definitely a songwriter. I mean, always. I don't even think that I don't even like calling myself a singer, or like it when people refer to me as a singer, to be honest, because I've never, I mean, I, that's not I don't think that's a skill set you know, uh, bring into,
Correct.
into the scene. I think what I bring is like my songwriting skills.
Right, right. So, your Instagram profile just says songwriter, and you're being quite clear there. But you still are a musician. You're a songwriter and a musician. Would
Yeah,
that be a
musician is
word that
fine.
you're okay with?
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
musician is
I
right,
mean, singer
right.
is fine. I am a singer technically. I mean, it would be wrong to say
Yes,
I'm not a singer, because of course I sing all
correct.
the time. But
You sing your
uh,
songs, right?
I sing my songs, but I'm just saying that I wouldn't like being called just a singer. That's a bit
Right, right, right.
because I pride myself more in my songwriting skills than my singing skills, just
So,
personally. But it's a very personal thing, so
right,
whatever you want to call me
right.
on.
Whatever we want to call you. Some people just chant your name. So, in my promo for this session, I alluded to heartbreak. Now, I may have said that in jest, but I also believe that nobody can write lyrics like yours without experiencing it. So, tell us, Prateek Kuhad, was your heart broken or did you break someone's heart?
I don't know. Anytime hearts are broken, I think from uh, one person's perspective, it's always their hearts that broken. But I'm sure hearts were broken all around, in the sense that that's just what happens when two people fall apart, really, right? So yeah. I mean,
How many times has your heart been broken?
not I mean, I've not been in like a ton of serious relationships, so it's not been a lot, but it's been a few times. Yeah.
Have you had a tough breakup ever?
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, I feel like I've said this in countless interviews before, but the cold mess pretty much came from a breakup. The entire record
Yes,
was very
yes,
strongly
yes.
influenced by one particular breakup.
Right, right. Well, you're over that now, but in a recent interview, one that only I am privy to so far, you've said that the best way to get over a breakup is to cry and cry and cry and then go and date someone else. Do you cry a lot, Prateek?
Yeah, I cry a lot. I find crying very therapeutic. I don't want to say I enjoy crying, but every once in a while, if you're, I think emotions get pent up a lot, and it's I don't know why. I think crying is super underrated. I mean, sometimes it's just great to just let it all out. You know, you could be with somebody or without somebody, it doesn't matter. It's very cathartic.
And
So
it
yes.
doesn't have to be connected to a breakup or something sad. It could just be listening to a song, a memory.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've sometimes I've been really overwhelmed by something I'm listening to or a movie I'm watching, and I'm not even
right,
necessarily sad, but just a
right,
bit overwhelmed by the emotions and the different kinds of emotions. Sometimes you're just so
right,
confused, you don't know what to do with those emotions, but just cry them out.
right,
So
right,
yeah.
right. So when was the last time you had your big cry?
Pretty recently, I feel like, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And what was it about?
It was just something silly. I mean, I think I didn't really have a fight, but I was just having a bad day, and then something happened, and something triggered something a bit personal. I don't want to get into it, but yeah.
Well, nothing's personal in the India story. Everything, everything India needs to know is on the India story. But no, we're not going to pry and we're not going to push. I have my mother when I was a little kid used to listen to Vivid Bharati songs at night and just to somehow cry. And as a little boy, I used to wonder why she's crying and why my mother's sad.
Hmm.
Do you have people around you suddenly start going like, Prateek, why are you crying? Is something wrong?
I don't cry in public. Like, no, I've never
It could
cried
be with a
around.
friend.
Yeah, I don't randomly start crying like that. It's not like that. But I'm just saying I don't suppress my crying. But usually
Right.
if I'm around people that I'm not completely comfortable with, like unless they're
Yes.
like, it's my girlfriend or like really close family, I will most likely not cry because I'm also very
Right.
conscious, and I don't think I've ever cried even in front of my friends in that sense,
Right.
because
Right. Right. Well,
then it's like my awkwardness and my consciousness takes over, and then I just try to really, yeah. But
Amir Khan once told me that, when you go to watch a movie and you really want to enjoy it, take a towel with you and cry your heart out, and you'll feel like a new person after that. But,
yeah.
it obviously does it for a lot of people. And I agree with you. Crying is underrated. So you moved on, and we're going to move on. The one question, Prateek, that's asked most to you probably is how you reacted when you suddenly saw your name or your song on Barack Obama's list. I'm not going to ask you that question. You've answered that several times. Instead, what I'm going to ask you is, what you did to reach out to the former president of the United States to say thank you. Did you reach out to him on social media? Did you send him a record of your songs? Did your agencies reach out at all?
No, we didn't really do, I mean, anything very grand in that sense. I did send him a message, back to his Instagram. I doubt he,
Correct. No, that's
manages
fine.
it
But
over
you
Instagram
did. I
now.
mean,
But I
it's
just
just
sent back,
it's
yeah, of course I said send back a thank you right away, just saying, thanks a
right,
lot.
right.
Whatever.
And that evening, after that euphoria had died down, that surprise had gone away. What did you do to celebrate?
What did I do to celebrate? It was pretty late at night. It was already like 11 or something. I think we got a cake. Yeah. I think we got a cake in at home or something. It was just me, my parents, and my girlfriend, and we were just all at home. And my
Right,
dad was actually away. He was
right,
somewhere else, at his friend's place or something. And we
right,
were playing, I think we were like playing something or playing cards or something like that. And then suddenly that
right,
happened. And then my
right,
girlfriend ordered a cake without telling anybody. So that was really
right.
like, so we
Nice.
just
Well,
celebrated
wish you
very low key. That's all we really did.
wish you many, 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 many more celebrations like that. So we've established the fact that it's beyond doubt that you have the ability to make people's knees turn to jelly, right? Are you embarrassed at all when girls want to marry you? Sometimes boys want to marry you, and couples have you as the person one of them is allowed to cheat with.
Oh, God. I didn't know about that, but I mean, I don't know. It's just like stuff that people shout out at shows, and you just laugh at it. I never thought about the fact whether it embarrasses me or not. But now that you're saying it out loud, yeah, maybe a little bit.
Well, wish you more embarrassment like that then, Pratik. Pratik, so as a fun little thing, what we've done is we've got some of these fans to interact with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to get them one by one and ask you one question. Right?
Okay.
Can we have fan number one first? Hello. Sanskriti, you need to
Hi.
unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Yes. Just give us your name, tell us where you're from, and ask your question.
I am Sanskriti and I am from Patna, Bihar.
Hi, Sanskriti.
Great,
How's it going?
Sanskriti.
I can't believe this is happening right now.
Look at
This
that
is
smile. It says it all.
unbelievable. Prateek, I just have a message for you. So in 2018, when you had come to Calcutta for the live concert, I have been watching you. Like the first song that I watched was listened was Dil Be Parwa, which was like you and Ankur did it together. And since then I was a big fan, and the live concert I had watched, like it was my first live concert in my life, and it had to be you. So I got an opportunity to work with India Story, and I was so happy to see you, like you would be performing, and it was a surprise. And we got to know like on that day that okay, today Prateek Kuhad is playing the concert, and it was like the best gift ever. I
Sanskriti,
can't
I
like
saw a
explain
video
it
of
to you.
yours. I
Your
saw a
songs
video of yours.
are
I'm going to interject. I saw a video of yours where you called him medicine. Why did you call him medicine?
because I feel he heals you. The words that he sings, the words that he like writes, it is a healing. It is a healing therapy. Like when I was going through my breakup phase, every morning walk was would be like I have a playlist in my Spotify which says Prateek and a heart, and that is like all my favorite songs of Prateek. And whenever I am down, whenever I'm feeling low, that is one thing that I do is just play that that playlist, and my mood is all up. So
Pratik,
that's
everybody
why.
thinks of you when they break up. How do you react to that?
It's just it's cold mess, you know. I mean, I think that's just became a popular song, and it's such a classic heartbreak song that, you know. But you know, as long as I'm helping somebody in some way, it's cool.
Right, right. Sanskriti, thank you for coming on. And we're now going to have the next
Thank
fan,
you,
Devansh,
thank you,
for
Prateek.
the.
Yeah, cheers. See ya.
Can we have fan number two?
Hi Prateek. I can't really believe that I'm here actually on the same screen as of you.
Yeah.
It's just that the first time actually, like Sanskriti in 2018 was the first time I heard you, and it was just so mesmerizing, like hearing you live, and it was just like it was so soothing. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's most like if you have seen Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, and how Hrithik Roshan is like after scuba diving. It's that how we feel after hearing to you. Your songs, be it like Cold Mess, Tum Jab Paas, Tune Kaha, Dil Pe Barpa. So be it any song, it's just that it's so soothing, it's so calming for us that be it anything, no matter if you're happy, sad, if you're like just want to sleep, you can't sleep and anything. It's just so soothing. It just goes to your mind and it just goes directly to your heart actually. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks a
So
lot.
no matter what mood are you in, it's always gonna light you up.
Thank you, Devansh. I think that's fantastic. Do you have a quick question for Pratik?
Uh, yeah, like no quick question per se. It's just that it's a very good, great opportunity for me, and I'm really happy to like be like.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for coming on, Devansh. And Pratik, you seem to be so used to, meeting people who are completely going crazy, right? How do you keep your emotions under control then?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it's also, you know, it's online, so it's not as overwhelming, I guess, you know.
Correct. But when people are in front of you, it's far more. Thank you, Devansh. Good to see you here. Yes, we have another person who's a special guest. I have a feeling, Pratik, you have a little bit of an unfair advantage, but I'm going to still play a little game and ask you to guess who you think this person is. You need to guess by listening to this.
I I have heard that song, but oh yeah, this is a really old song.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shweta Shetty.
I like the way Prateek said this is a really old song.
Shweta, he's giving our ages away, right? Welcome, Shweta, to the India story. We were talking the other day, and you said you love Prateek Kuhad's music. Tell us about it.
You know, Prateek, Jamal introduced me to your music, and the first note that you sang, I fell in love with your voice. I fell in love with your music. I fell in love with your, your when you write lyrics, it's like storytelling. You know, there are very few artists that you have, which is a person who writes his lyrics, who's a singer, who's a composer. It's like three in one. How does one do it? I said, God, I mean, that's really
Thank you so much.
neat.
Cheers.
No, I mean, it's really so amazing. I'm such a big fan of
Fantastic.
yours.
Prateek, at the risk of revealing Shweta's age and mine, how old were you when you first heard Shweta Shetty?
I I
He was not even
I can.
born,
I
maybe.
was in school.
No,
That's
he
the
was in
school. That's
school. Come
all.
on, he's not that young. He's not in his teens. He's out of his teens.
Yeah, I'm
His
not
fan
that young
following may be
myself.
all in his teens. Yes, but how old? You must have been like 10, 12, 14.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe like 14, 15, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yes. And Shweta, you were drawing parallels between Prateek's music when we first spoke and Coldplay. What made you think that?
You know, I don't know. It was just something about his voice. You know, it is such a. There are very few artists who, sing ballads and make that, immediate connection. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's also the
Absolutely.
music. It is just something so different. This is just not. I said, oh my God, this is not for an Indian audience. He can even go
Right.
abroad and sing this in
Right.
English. It would be the top of the charts
So out of
because
every, yes.
it was just it's the whole package of Prateek which reminded me so much. But Prateek has his own style. Coldplay has his own style.
Correct. Correct.
And
So out of all of his songs you've heard, which is your favorite? Which is your Prateek Kuhad favorite?
oh my God, it's very difficult to say. It's really difficult. You know, the girl who came in the beginning, the first fan, who named that song. That was my favorite too, because that's the first song that I heard of Prateek, and I'm like, oh my God. Prateek, can we sing together? I'd love to do a duet with you.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about
You are my Jamal. You're my witness. You're my
Can I? 100%. Just make sure that I'm the first one to hear it.
Yeah.
Prateek, I must say, before Shweta leaves, that I just had to take your name once, and Shweta was on. She said, "I'm always there to encourage young talent." And what do you have to say to her?
Yeah, thank you so much for, coming by and saying hi. It's really cool.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. I love talent like yours. And what is really amazing, like me, you also have no godfather. It's been your talent, your hard work. And Prateek, keep doing that because you're going to make a mark for yourself. You're not going to be forgotten for a very long time. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Shweta,
Cheers.
thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
and
you
we're
so
glad to
much.
have you back in India. And just remember, your divanas will always remain your divanas.
Thank you. And
So,
Jamal, can I tell you, you look great in front of the camera and not behind taking interviews. I want to see more of that.
fantastic. See you then. Yes.
See you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you
much.
for coming by. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Are you embarrassed enough, Prateek? You're going to have a lot of opportunities like that. But if you are really embarrassed, I've got news for you. We're all set to embarrass you more.
Oh, wow.
Next up is another good friend of mine who's one of Bombay's most sought after performers. She's a top singer. She's an actor. She is an MC. And now a big, big Instagram star. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mansi Scott.
Hi, Prateek.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very well. This is really cute, Jamal, that you're doing this. Of course, it's
Mansi, action! Action!
You want me to sing his song for him? Actually, I was trying to learn Kasoor because that was the first one that I learned. But then I was going through your song and I love this one called 100 Words. Do you have 100 words for me? But
We seem to have lost you there for a minute.
I don't know the tune of the song, Jamal. You're putting me in a spot, but I'll do my own version. Do
Please
you
do.
have 100 words for me? Because I have only 3. You sing the next 2 lines because I've completely messed up the tune of your song, Prateek.
No, it's fine. It's great.
When you have a lady singing for you, you have to respond in song or recite something.
No, actually, like me and Mansi know each other. I mean, in the sense,
Yes,
we've
we
hung
do.
out a couple of times, right? With
I was at
Shweta.
one of his first concerts.
Yeah, that was the show in Bombay, I think.
At the studio, at Mehboob Studios.
Yeah. That's
I
like
remember
a
Shweta Salvi dragged me and said, you have to hear
there
this
was
guy.
nobody at
Prateek
that
Kuhad.
show.
It was
There was 7
amazing.
people at that show, and
Rubbish.
there was 7 or 8 people, and it was basically like you, Hermit, and Shweta who came, and they were like really excited, and I didn't know that that time, and I'm playing the show. I'm like, who are those 2-3 people who are so enthusiastic? That's amazing. And that's like one of the saving graces at a show, because you're playing a show and there's barely anybody, you're feeling like shit, but then there's these like 3 people having a really great time, and I'm like, yes, at least somebody's having a good time. And then
This is like a yeah. This is like a reunion happening. I mean, you guys are
It's
catching
sort
up.
of, yeah. No,
Yeah,
this
with
is
the whole
amazing, Prateek.
world. Watch
to be
it.
a part to be a part of this. You've really carved a niche for yourself. It's always wonderful to see an artist come in and just hold his own and have his voice. And I heard Shweta just say something about Coldplay. I don't think you have anybody's hangover, but if I was to liken you to somebody, I would probably think you're as insane as Ed Sheeran, just that whole one man army doing everything on his own, getting his music out there, getting the voice in the right place. So it was quite, thanks to Jamal, I've actually educated myself on all your songs now, not just the ones I like.
I'm actually trying to see whether Prateek blushes at any compliment he gets, but I'm not getting it. Is anyone
Very
getting that?
deadpan. Very amazing, very
He's,
deadpan, very
you know,
cool.
I want him to be embarrassed, right? He's just like, okay,
I'm really embarrassed right now. You have no idea. I'm trying to, keep it together because we're live and a bunch of people are watching us. But I'm
we
quite.
don't want you to keep it together. Come on, let's see you fall apart now. Come on. Okay, Mansi, which is your favorite Prateek Kuhad song?
I like I said, it was Kasoor, but when I was looking up which song I wanted to sing 2-3 words of, I didn't have the time to learn it and I didn't want to mess it up. It's 100 words. I love the lyric. Do you have 100 words for me? Because I have only 3.
Right.
You won't even sing for me. And while I write these songs for you, something like that. I thought it was just beautiful. So I wanted to sing, I do have 100 words for you. And I'll sing this song for you. We can do a question answer Jugalbandi.
That's fantastic. It's just when we get Prateek to respond, right? What works about Prateek's songs for me are the words. Being a writer, for me, words are always more important than the melody and the tune. What is it, Mansi, that works for you?
I think it's style. I like the ease. I like that whole sort of John Mayer, Ed Sheeran ease, and it's a very confident style, which for me is number one. And very few artists have the same. You can recognize a Coldplay song. You can recognize a Prateek Kuhad song, and I think that's the biggest compliment my father up in heaven would give any artist. And I realized that about you. That like when I was searching and I didn't even know it was your song, I could just pinpoint and say, okay, that's Prateek's song, and that's quite brilliant. And I really hope you.
That's fantastic. Any message for you before Mansi leaves, Prateek? A message for Mansi.
Yeah, I mean, it was great.
And I will sorry before you say that, it's Manasi, guys. It's not Mansi. It's 2 separate meanings. Manasi.
Correct. Manasi. So message for Manasi.
Yeah, thank you for dropping by again. I mean, hopefully catch up sometime next time I'm in Bombay once,
Absolutely.
all
Please
this is
connect,
over.
come home, and maybe on the other side of this we'll do some great music.
Yeah.
And guys,
God knows the world needs more of it.
And Mansi, absolutely love your concerts. Prateek, if you didn't know, Mansi has done more than 150 back-to-back concerts on Instagram every day of lockdown.
Crazy.
And now she's shifted just to the weekends, correct?
Yeah, I had to
Mansi,
give the voice
shifted to the weekend.
Yeah,
right. And but let me tell you that every effort you make to come on live, looking the way you do and singing makes a big difference. I'm actually glad you've shifted to the weekend because I know there'd be people who'd pray otherwise for the lockdown to never end.
I've had that. I've had a lot of people writing in to say that. But yeah, it's been quite
Thank you for coming by and look forward to seeing you tonight.
you.
Is your next concert?
Yes, 7:30 p.m. on Instagram.
On Instagram at Manasi Scott.
Scott.
MANASI Correct.
Thank you, Jamal.
See you then.
All the best.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Prateek, have you managed to overwhelm you enough now?
Yeah, I think that was that's enough for the day, right? I think that was good.
two last questions. I understand you're overwhelmed, right? But do you also feel grateful for this fame and for this appreciation and the love?
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, every day. It's just it took me a while to even process it. I think for a long time I didn't even fully process it, but once you do, then it's all you feel is like, and honestly, more than anything else apart, other than like the bit of fame and the adulation and everything, it's just the fact that I can now do this because 7 years ago I set out to do this, and I didn't know if it would work out and if I could be a musician for a long time or my entire life. And now I just feel glad that I'm doing this and I love doing this, and I'm completely independent, and it's just this is, I still sometimes can't believe that this is my profession and I do this and I make money of it. And it's just that is like really, really great. It really is, because sometimes you see other people who are doing stuff they really don't like, and then I'm like, shit, I'm just at home and I play online concert or whatever, and it's great. It's really great.
With those words, Prateek, please continue winning hearts, continue turning those knees into jelly, continue to write songs about heartbreak and love, but with the positivity and joy you bring to all of us. A little bit of advice, because we have a couple of years on you, advice from Madhu Nyotia and from me. You may think at this point, Prateek, that praise can't get bigger than that coming from Barack Obama. But remember, this for you is just the beginning. Keep doing what you love. You have many more hearts to conquer and bigger successes to follow. We will all
Thank
stand
you.
by and applaud and watch with great amount of pride.
Thank you
Any
so much.
last words?
I'm terrible at these last words, but
That's
yeah,
absolutely
thanks
fine.
so much for having me, man. It was a really good chat. I had a really fun time.
Prateek Kuhad, on behalf of Madhu Nyotia, the entire team of the India Story, thank you for being here. And for those watching, do join us again next Saturday for performances, workshops, and more conversations as the India Story continues.
Cheers, man.